Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, opening your bank app on your phone and finding an incoming transfer, 1,000 euros. And you know the crazy part? You will receive it next month too, and the month after that, for the rest of your life. You don't have to work. You don't have to prove you are poor. You have to do absolutely nothing. It is credited to you simply because you are alive and a citizen. Does it sound like a utopia? Or perhaps a dangerous economic illusion? Welcome to Luminal Thinking. Today, we are talking about UBI, Universal Basic Income. It's being discussed everywhere right now, from Silicon Valley boardrooms to the halls of politics, from one very simple and scary reason. Artificial intelligence and automation are about to wipe out millions of jobs. But is giving everyone free money really the solution? Or is it just a band-aid on a fatal wound? Stick with me until the end, because the results on the latest studies might flip everything you think about money and work upside down. Let's start with the basics. Since humans have walked this earth, our primary needs haven't changed. Eating, having a roof over our heads, and protecting our loved ones. Today, to satisfy these primal instincts, the vast majority of us must do one thing: work. Having or not having a paycheck is often the difference between survival and extreme poverty. So far, every technological advancement has destroyed obsolete jobs but created new ones. The invention of the mechanical loom eliminated hand weavers but created a modern textile industry. Increased productivity democratized goods that were once inaccessible, raising average living standards. Discoveries have always destroyed the status quo to create a new normal. So, looking at artificial intelligence, we might say, nothing new under the sun, right? There will be a transition period and then we will invent new professions. Wrong. There is one fundamental detail we are ignoring: speed. When society's equilibrium is shaken, it takes time to adapt. In the Industrial Revolution, the shift from farms to factories took generations. The ratio between the speed of change and our capacity of adaptation was balanced. Today, that is no longer the case. The speed of innovation is accelerating at an exponential rate, outpacing human biology and sociology. Think about it. If in the past, to replace 100 scribes, we had to physically build and distribute 100 typewriters, today, to replace an entire accounting or copywriting department, all it takes is a software update, downloaded into 2 minutes. No hardware is needed, just a copy and paste of code. Sure, those who learn to steer the AI will survive, but what about the others? Reskilling millions of 50 or 60-year-olds takes time. And if the change is instantaneous, we will find ourselves with masses of unemployed people who literally cannot buy bread. As the famous historian Yuval Noah Harari once said, the biggest challenge of the 21st century will be what to do with all the people who will become economically useless. This is where UBI, Universal Basic Income, comes into play. The idea is simple: provide a guaranteed minimum to support basic needs. And mind you, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg didn't invent this concept. The Roman Emperor Augustus had already perfected the cura nonne, the free distribution of grain to hundreds of thousands of Roman citizens. And in 1797, the philosopher Thomas Paine in his essay Agrarian Justice, proposed giving a sum of money to every person upon reaching age of 21 to compensate for inequality in land ownership. But modern UBI has strict rules. It must be universal, for everyone, rich and poor, unconditional, no bureaucratic checks, individual, and in cash. This means that even a billionaire would receive it, although it would be irrelevant to them. And above all, everyone would have the absolute freedom to spend it however they want, on groceries, enrolling in a degree program, or buying alcohol and gambling. And this is exactly where the debate is up. What do people actually do when they receive free money? Fortunately, we don't have just to philosophize, because massive real-world trials have been conducted in recent years, and the results are contrasting. In developing countries, the data is extraordinary. The organization Give Directly distributed basic incomes in several Kenyan villages. The result? People didn't stop working. Quite the opposite. They used the money to buy agriculture tools, start small businesses, and send their children to school. It allowed them to think long-term, escaping the survival mode. But let's move to the wealthy world, to the West. A 2-year experiment was conducted in Finland. The result? People were significantly happier and less stressed. But the impact on finding a new job was minimal. Even more interesting is the American study recently funded by Sam Altman, the creator of ChatGPT. They gave $1,000 a month to thousands of people for 3 years. The results, published in mid-2024, tell us that participants worked on average 1.3 hours less per week. But how did they spend the money? Many invested in their health or helped family members, but unlike in Kenya, the impact on professional training or starting new businesses was almost zero. A lot of the money went towards leisure activities, traveling, going to the movies, eating out. These results led us to an uncomfortable reflection that we rarely hear from politicians. We live in a hyper-consumerist society, scientifically built to manipulate our minds and push us to buy things we don't need. Are we sure that having an extra 1,000 euros a month will make us better and freer citizens? The loss of a job isn't just an economic tragedy, it's a psychological one. Work, for better or worse, gives many people a sense of purpose, a social structure, a reason to get up in the morning. Forced unemployment is often followed by depression, alienation, and sadly, substance abuse. If we give a basic income to people stripped of their purpose in a society that worships consumerism, we risk that money becoming the perfect currency for self-destruction. Imagine the worst-case scenario. Masses of unemployed people receiving their maintenance check from the state and spending it on designer bags, a new iPhone on installment plans, streaming platforms, or drugs. Paradoxically enriching the very mega corporations that fired them thanks to AI. It would be a closed loop where the poor stay poor, trapped in an eternal short-term cycle without ever building a real future. UBI would become not a cure but a powerful painkiller to keep the masses happy. We took your jobs, but here's some money to keep you quiet. If UBI in its pure form has these structural flaws, what are the alternatives? We explore two here on Luminal Thinking. The first is restricted UBI. Instead of wiring cash, the state provides a digital credit that can only be spent on essential goods: food, healthcare, education, bills, and rent. We eliminate the risk of the money ending up in casinos or toxic consumerism, guaranteeing dignified survival while giving a clear direction on how to spend the money. The second, and perhaps the most fascinating, is called UBS, Universal Basic Services. Think about it. If a government has the resources, perhaps thanks to taxing robots and artificial intelligence, to give 1,000 euros to every citizen, wouldn't it be better to use that mountain of trillions of euros to make essential services completely free and of the highest quality? Imagine a society where public transport is free, where education up to the university level or for reskilling at age 50 is free, where public healthcare works perfectly without you having to pay for insurance or a private consultation. Removing the fear of getting sick, of not being able to study, or of ending up on the street would drastically lower the cost of living. You would need far less money to live well. Guaranteeing services instead of cash ensures that capital is invested in society's infrastructure and true well-being, not squandered in the short term. In conclusion, the world is changing beneath our feet at breakneck speed. Automation and artificial intelligence are no longer science fiction. They are our everyday reality. Right now, we still have too little data to draw definitive conclusions on UBI, and we desperately need to test it in controlled environments before disrupting the global economy. However, history is on our side. As human beings, our greatest skill isn't strength, but adaptability. We have survived ice ages, world wars, and pandemics. We will find a solution for this revolution together too. Whether it's universal income, free services, or a new economic model we can't even imagine yet, the important thing is to start talking about it now. To be a new normal, made of greater well-being for everyone. And which side are you on? Would you rather receive 1,000 euros a month to spend however you want? Or would you prefer to live in a country where housing, education, and healthcare are completely free for everyone? Let me know down below in the comments. If this video made you think and sparked an idea, subscribe to Luminal Thinking and hit the bell icon. Here we explore the ideas that will shape our future. I will see you next time.